Okay, in lesson 17, we were learning how to multiply decimals. Well, we're using what we know about fractions in order to make it easier. Now, the first thing, fifth graders always have to know how to model a fraction, do a model of multiplication of fractions and decimals. So the first one here says 1/10 times 1 and 6/10. So we're going to be modeling the 1 here. Let me change my pen so you can see it. So we're going to be modeling the 1 whole here, and we're going to be modeling 6/10 here. And we know we're going to change this to a fraction where it says 6/10 to actually 6/10, so it's easier to see. And we're going to be multiplying it by 1/10. And 1/10 is going to be equal to this bit right here. That is 1/10. And the same over here, be 1/10. Our 6/10 here are going to be right here. It's our 6/10. So we're going to go ahead and shade those in. I'm going to use a highlighter. So this one here says 1 whole. So we would end up shading in this whole model because it's 1 whole. Now on the second one, 6/10. So we're going to shade in 6 of the 10. Let me get that all the way down so we don't make a mistake. There's 4, 5, and 6. Now we're going to be shading in the horizontal side. And this 1/10, we're going to shade in this whole 1/10 right here. And we're going to shade in the second model 1/10. Now you can see that the product is going to be represented by the ones that are double hatched, which would be these right here. And we can say 1/10, so 10 of them are going to be shaded in. And if we counted our squares, we know this is a 10 by 10 grid, so it's going to be 100. So we have 10 hundredths for the first one. On the second one, we can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is going to be 6 hundredths. Add those two together, we're going to get 16. We have hundredths. 1 whole one again. And in order in decimal form, we know the 6 would be in a hundredths position. And we're going to be multiplying by, we'd end up with 16 hundredths. 6/10. Let me get my highlighter back. So on the first one, we know we would be highlighting everything because it's a 1 whole. I actually should be doing that vertically. But we can see everything's been highlighted. Now on this one, we're going to do 9/10 of it. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now let's go ahead and change our color so we can see it. Now we're shading in 6/10 of it, which is going to be this one. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now over here we're going to do 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we can see all the ones that were included on both of them. Here we know we got 6 by 10. So this is going to end up being 61 out of 100. And here we got 6 by 10. Actually, I'm sorry, 6 by 9. Okay, so that's going to be 54 hundredths, which is going to equal 114 hundredths. Now, the first reaction, people, is go ahead and try to convert this. 100 would go into 114 one time, be 14 hundredths. So 1 and 14 hundredths. Now, what I'd like to see in this is saying, okay, 100,
now we're going to take
14 hundredths. So I'm putting 114 here.
How to do this?
I know the 4 has got to be in the hundredths
model,
position, so I have to
how
put
we can use what we
decimal
learned about fractions.
right there. 1 and 14
Now, as you can see
hundredths.
here,
we have 4 times 6/10. And you notice they've changed the 6/10 to a fraction. And then they've rewritten it to 4, because this is actually 4 over 1, which is 4 times 6 times 10, which gives us 24 tenths. And 24 tenths, the 4 has to be in the tenth spot, in the tenths. On the second one, we've changed 4 tenths to a fractional 4 tenths, and a decimal 6 tenths to a fractional 6 tenths, which gives us 4 times 6 over 10 times 10, which gives us 24. 10 times 10 is 100. So we know now 24 hundredths, the 4 would have to be in a hundredths spot. So there's 24 hundredths. In this case, we have 4 hundredths times 6 tenths, which gives us 4 times 6, which gives us 24. 100 times 10 is 1 thousandths. So 24 thousandths, I'm writing 24. I know the 4 has to be in a thousandths position, so I've got to add a 0. Now I have 24 thousandths. On here, we're going to rewrite this as 7. I like writing as 7 over 1 so everybody can see it. And this is 3 tenths. So we end up with 7 times 3 over 1 times 10, which equals 21 tenths. So 21 tenths, the 1 has to be in the tenth spot. The next one, I have 7 tenths times 3 tenths, which equals 7 times 3 over 10 times 10, which equals 21 100ths. And 21 hundredths, the 1 has to be in a hundredth spot, so the decimal point goes there. On F, we have 7 hundredths times 3 tenths, which equals 7 times 3 over 100 times 10, which equals 21 1,000ths. And the 1 has to go into thousandths, so I have to put another 0 in there, and we end up with 21 thousandths. Now, here we have 1.3, or 1 3/10. I like you to think of this as unit form, and this becomes 13 tenths times 5 over 1, which gives us 13 times 5 over 10, which gives us 65 tenths. So 65 tenths means it'll be 6 5/10. On the next one, once again, 1 3/10 becomes 13 tenths times 5 tenths, which gives us 13 times 5 over 100, which equals 65 hundredths. So 65 hundredths, the 5 has to go in the hundredth spot. Our last one, 13 tenths times 5 tenths, gives us 13 times 5 over 10 times 10, which is 65. Oh, excuse me. This is 13 hundredths. So I need to add a 0 in here. So that becomes 65 thousandths. So 65, the 5 has to be in a thousandths position, so we have to add an extra 0 in there. Number 4, Cassius walked 6/10 of a 3 6/10 mile trail. How many miles did he have left to hike. Now, most of these children, if they do not draw a tape diagram, they are not going to be able to see the problem. And this is 3.6 miles. And it says they walked 6/10. So I'm going to put the 6/10 in there. I'm going to say this is what they've already walked. Now they have this, which is left. And we're looking, like it says here, how long do they have left to walk? Well, I know this has to be 6/10. That means for the other half, the other part of it has to be 4/10, because these fractional forms have to add up to 1. So now I want to know what 4/10 of 3.6 miles. In other words, I want 4/10 times 3.6. So I'm going to turn this to a fraction, 4/10 times 36/10, which equals 4 times 36 over 10 times 10, which is going to equal 24, 144 hundredths. And I know one of the 4's is going into the hundredths place, so I'm going 144 to 4 in the hundredths place. So I can see that he has 1 44 hundredths miles left. And the last one, Cameron has 1.3 miles ahead of Cassius. How many miles did Cameron hike already? Okay. Well, if he had 1.44 and he was 1.3 ahead, that means that he hiked 2.74 miles.